If you're somebody who has tightness, tenderness, or even pain in your legs, these are some things you could do at home to get tightness, tenderness, and even pain out of your legs. Now, depending on how healthy your legs are, meaning you take care of them, you stretch them often, you could be more aggressive with your care. But if you're somebody who doesn't stretch or doesn't put much care into your legs or your hips, you're going to have to start slower and be more patient, because when your legs are unhealthy, they can become more aggravated even when you're trying to help them. So let's start for the people who don't do much for their legs. It's very easy to get a trigger stick and lightly roll over your legs in all the different areas. On the inside, on the top, on the outside. Every angle you want to make sure you hit, because on every angle there's a different muscle that does a different job. And if you can get that old fluid out and that tension and inflammation out and get new fluid in, your leg's going to be able to heal better, heal faster. The muscles will heal longer and stronger, which will allow them to be more active and more resilient and handle stress better and recover better. This will allow you to do your job or do your activities that you enjoy and keep your legs healthy enough, long enough, so you can continue to do them throughout your life. Obviously, if you have a tender spot, you can hit that a couple extra times, but you don't want to do it too much. You just want to take a little of that tension off at a time. Let your body get rid of all that inflammation and stress you're pushing out of the muscles and into your bloodstream, and let it get it out of the body so that you don't do too much at once and have your body get over sore or tender or even cause yourself pain because you have an area that you just were working too fast on. But consistency and time is the key to the best results. Almost in every area of your life, consistency and time, and taking care of your body is no different. The more consistency and time you put into good habits that lead to better health, the healthier those body parts will get, the longer they'll last, and the more you'll be able to enjoy all the things you enjoy doing. That would be level one. If your legs are a little healthier, but they're very sore, or you haven't taken care of them in a couple weeks, or if you just had such an incredible workout that they're just screaming, you may want to start with the smooth foam roller. And we're going to take it to the mat to go over the foam roller and the rumble roller. The rumble roller is for maybe moderate soreness, or if you're into working through things fast and your legs are healthy. Some people go straight to this, but if your legs are very tender and it's almost like you're not really getting benefit out of it because it's just too painful to go through there, you want to work your way up, even if you have to start with the trigger stick. And then you work your way into the foam roller, then you work your way into the rumble roller. Let's take it to the mat. Okay, so level one foam roller would be helping assist your body weight. So we're going to roll over every part of the leg. And I'm going to use my arms if I need to take a little weight off if it's too tender, or I can relax my arms a little bit if I want more of my body weight on the foam roller. And you can slowly roll through all the areas. If you find a tender area, you can stop and take a couple breaths on that spot and then start rolling through there again. Or you can take a small section and you could do mini rolls if something's extra tender and you want to spend a little more time on that spot. Now I'm going to rotate around the leg. I'll do the right leg first. So I'm starting to roll on the edge a little and roll over to the side. And once again, I'm using my hands and my legs to either decide if I want light weight on my legs, or I'm going to let everything drop down if I want more weight on the leg. Obviously, the more weight you put on, the deeper you're going to get into those spots. And I'm only changing that so it stays in the camera. You don't have to change the roller if you have enough room. And then when I start to move more over this way, I step in front, so I start to go more down the side of my leg. This helps for back of the legs, IT bands, quads. I'm starting to move around to the front more. And once again, I could be using my legs and my hands, so there's a little less weight on my leg, or I could be leaning down and going all in on it if I want to. Now, I'm just going to do the top part now, the hip flexor. So I go around and do the leg, and I can even go back and through a couple times if I wanted to. But now I'm going to go right above where my crest of my hip is and the hip of my leg. I'm going in that muscle in that space in between there. You can hold and breathe. You can wiggle a little, or you can move through that whole section. Or you could do a little of all of it, depending on how sore you are, how tender you are, what you want to work on, what you want to release. And now I'm working that ridge between my hip of my leg and the crest of my pelvis. I'm working that muscle space all in there. Those are the muscles that do all the work. That's what attaches the leg to the body, what allows you to move your leg in all different directions. Now I'm going to turn around so you can see how I do the inside of the right leg, because it would have been harder to see from the other direction. So I'll do the front like this, and then I'll start to go to that inside thigh by pointing my knee out this way. Knee and my toe. And that gets the inside of the thigh there. And you want to get it all the way down to the knee, to where this muscle attaches into here. Get all in here where all these muscles attach. Because this is the muscle part that does the work, but its origin and insertion, which is where it attaches and where it comes from, those are the parts that a lot of tension can build up in. And then I'll just work all the way through my leg again, all the way back. And I'll show you it on the rumble roller. Now remember, when I was on my belly, I got the front all the way into here. So now I'm just finishing it off so that every part of my leg got the roll, got as many toxins out as I could, and got as much new fluid in as I could so my leg could heal from my workout and get ready to do something today. I changed my mind. Since I have to do my left and you want to do your left, because you want to make sure both are healthy, I'm going to do my left side too before I go to the rumble roller. Down the hamstring. Now if I want less weight, I could use both legs on at the same time. If I want more weight, I could take my right leg off and use it to move me and just do my left thigh so more weight can go on the left. Usually people have a lot of tension that builds up at this point, where the hamstring comes into the IT, over the quad, and where the quad comes into the knee. That's a spot a lot of people don't stretch. A lot of people may not roll, and so those are the spots where the tenderness is going to hide. You could almost think of tenderness as something that hides out in the parts of your body that you don't visit much. But if you visit those spots frequently with stretching or foam rolling and trigger stick, the tension has to go. Whenever you start to get to the side of the leg more, that's when you bring your other leg in front. Whatever works best for your balance and movement. Remember to still protect your hips and your abs and your core. Don't be lazy about things. You want everything to get healthier at the same time. I was doing some new activities that were a little more quad heavy, so that's where I'm feeling it. I'm just going to do the left front while I'm here so you can see it from the other side. So you can do 2, or you could do 1. And then I'm starting to turn that left hip out and left toe out to get that inner thigh on the left. I'm going to spend a little time working that left where it goes into the knee, that attachment point there. Because that's a spot I don't visit as much as I should, but I'm going to be stopping by a little more. Just to make sure that tension doesn't get too comfortable in that part of my body. Now I'm going to get that last part between my hamstring and the muscles of my inner thigh, all the way to where it attaches to my hip, all the way through the muscle belly, all the way to where it attaches and moves the knee. Obviously, this doesn't have to stop here. My knees also include my calves, the top of my lower leg, the bottom of my lower legs, the sides. Should be doing it all, but right now I'm just focusing on thighs. And then, when you're ready, this is the rumble roller. I like using it for muscles because it goes a little deeper into the different muscles, or if you have a trigger point, you could have that sit on a trigger point to help break that up a little bit. Push out the old fluid, bring in the new. And obviously, once again, the healthier your legs are and the more familiar you are with this, the more aggressive you could be with yourself. But if you're just starting out, less is always more. You can always do more tomorrow, but you never want to overdo it. So this is the rumble roller, and I do not like it on bones because I don't want my bones to be pushed abnormally in my spine, but I do like it where there's enough muscle and meat for the knobs on the rumble roller to get into the tissues a little deeper. So this one can be done a couple ways. And these same techniques can be done on the foam roller. Here you can lift one leg up on top of the other and really pull that muscle to the surface and either do little movements to find your sore spots and just do little movements through them. You can find your sore spots and sit and hold. And then wiggle a little if you want to really just focus on getting rid of trigger points. You can do that all the way out to the edge and all the way in. You could work a little higher to see if you find anything. You could work a little lower to see if you find anything. Or you could keep it flat and just do full movements all the way through. Or you could do the short movements if you have a tender spot, or you can set and hold if you have one particular spot you want to see if you can make a dent in. Remember, consistency in time. One workout is not going to solve all your problems, but is the beginning of solving your problem for that day. And if you keep doing that each day and solve the little problems, the bigger problems that are impacting your health will improve as well. And for today, I just need to get the soreness out of my legs. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 days after a real good workout that I get my legs back to 100%. But that's all right. That's the way the body is designed. To be worked, to be fed good things like stretching and exercise and rest and nutrition and adjustments. And when you work it and feed it good things, it grows to be able to do more good things. Okay. So for here, this is all the hips. This is just over top where all the legs attach. Up into that little spot in between the hip of my leg and the crest of my pelvis. Working all those spots. Now we're going to do the right side. We'll do that seek and destroy a little first. Remember, once again, probably my 3rd time saying it already, doing anything to improve your health will improve your health. You don't have to do what somebody else is doing. You just have to do what your body needs for that day. And if it's a light trigger stick because you haven't taken care of your legs or hips in a long time and they're really bothering you, and you have to put a lot of stress on them at work every day, so you're always putting tension on them, the health of your legs have fallen behind a little bit, just putting that trigger stick through your legs, through those muscles, and start to take some tension off them is just as good as the world's greatest athlete doing his routine. Because he's giving his body what he needs and it needs, and you're giving your body what yours needs. And that's the most important part. All right. Remember, as I'm doing all these, the 3 ways I'm doing them. I'm doing long movements, I'll do short movements, I'll find a spot and hold. You want to do enough to loosen these areas, but it gets to a point where you don't need to spend all day on one spot. It's only going to release so much tension each time. So you want to do enough to make progress, but you don't want to get the mindset that if you do it 10 times longer, it's going to be 10 times better. At least in this aspect. There are some aspects of stretching where longer stretches, like in yin-style yoga stretching, has a bunch of benefits that you can't get from stretching shorter periods of time. You can only get them by doing longer stretches. All right, I'm going to roll around. Get the front of that hip. These are your hip flexors. This is what shortens when you're driving in a car. This one shortens and tightens when you pick up your leg to take a step. Now we're going to hit the thighs. So I'm doing both at the same time here. I'm doing the outer part of my leg and hamstring right through here. Once again, long runs through, short runs in certain areas where you could feel tension build up, or even if you could feel the center of where all the tension is, you can even hold there and breathe for a second before you start to move again. Up to 3 seconds is kind of a decent amount of time to start with. But the more you do it, you sort of find your own way. It's like artwork. You start to learn the paint and the colors and what go together and the techniques. And if you keep painting, I assume, but I'm not an artist, that you start to figure some of your own stuff out too, the more time you spend doing something. And that's a good thing. All right. So now we're going to get a little deeper. And thanks to making this video, I had the luxury of starting out with the trigger stick, doing the foam roller, and then doing the rumble roller, which sort of eased me into things a little bit. Because if I'm on limited time and go straight to the rumble roller, it's a little more tender when I didn't have the chance to use the other techniques to start to detox my legs. Or this is the one that we really get that attachment point. You can see that right where your knee and quadricep meet. That attachment point there is a tender one for me. All the way in. Want to get them all. Every area. And if you want to get where your leg attaches to your hip, I can tell that's a spot I haven't visited in a little while or really got work during my workout, because I did some different movements, so I used some different muscles. So I can feel a little extra tension stored in there. But that's why I'm spending today getting as much tension off them as possible so I can get all the positive benefits from my workout and eliminate all the negative effects that can happen when you work muscles a lot. And that's the whole idea. Maximize the positive, minimize the negative, improve your health. Let me spin around so you can see the left side being done here. And all you do is start somewhere and then just make sure you go all the way around. These are tender spots for people. We use these a lot. Even if we take good care of them, they could still get sore. It's amazing the amount of work the body can do. I'm just holding this up. I don't want to add a zipper to my rolling. Yeah, around the front here. Good. A lot of tenderness coming out of my leg. And you'll notice that 1 or 2 times through it could be really tender. But if you're doing it right and you're taking the tension off and you're being patient over the days, you'll feel that areas that were tender the day before are less tender and less tender. And sometimes, if you're consistent enough, they can feel smooth. Sometimes you can even get to the point where you hardly feel any tenderness in there at all. So I hope that helps you. So whether you're just starting out or your legs are really sore, this is a great place to start. Then you can move into the foam roller, body assisted if you want to do it against a wall, and then if you want to do it on the floor to add gravity, that'll add the tension to here. When you've gone from there, when you're ready for another level, you can start to use the Roam roller to get deeper into the muscles. Consistency and time is the key. Spend time on your body, and whatever aspect of your health you spend time on, your body will improve in that area. Remember to take good care of all your body parts. In this video, we focused on the legs. They take you and carry you everywhere you want to go, so the better you take care of them, the better they'll take care of you. Keep on rolling.